Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper. So our project today is to rebuild this axle housing for a Caterpillar telehandler. And this is actually where the ball joints for the steering go. This is a four-wheel drive unit, so it does have, down in here is where the U-joints are for the axle shaft. And the ball joint, or the bearings fell out of the ball joint because it failed and got down in the seal and just chewed the seal surface out. Now I've already measured our depths and our bearing surface here, and everything is good as far as the bearing. It was just the seal it destroyed, the seal surface. So we're going to take the die grinder, cut into this a ways, get it cleaned up nice, and then we'll take and build it back up with weld, get it up on the boring mill, and bore it to size. So let's get started. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm changing out to a different wire that's actually a little bit softer and easier to machine. I went from an ER70S6 to an ER70S3. And generally I would TIG weld this up and then machine it, and that's an ER70S2 that I get for filler there. So this is definitely softer than what I'm usually using, so it'll machine a lot better for us. So it's all welded up, we just got to let it cool, and then we'll move it into the boring mill. And when you do stuff like this, always build up more than you think you need. Because if you stop where you think you got enough, you usually don't. So you got to take it back out of the machine and do it again. So always figure another 50 to 100% more than what you think you actually need, and then you should be good. This one, I know I'm good. I got plenty. I can see I'm way over the bearing surface, so we should be able to get 100% cleanup. I got it all welded up and up on the machine. Now I got to figure out how to hold it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an angle plate on the table here, indicate it in perfect, perpendicular to the spindle, and then clamp this sucker right tight flat on this surface to the angle plate. And that'll bring us pretty much true on the other surface, and then we can indicate everything in, get it centered, and then start our boring. All right, so we got it all clamped up there and mounted up, and it doesn't seem to be moving at all. So that's a good thing, and I'm pretty sure it's good. So what we're going to do next is take our coaxial centering indicator, this little guy, you've seen me use it before, and we're going to get down inside the bore to the bearing surface with it, and we're going to indicate center off the bearing surface. And then we'll set up our boring head, and we'll start cleaning this up. Well, it looks like that's about as good as we're going to get it. We're within 1 thou, 5/10. It's really close. So now we'll get this out of here and put our boring head in and start figuring out what we need for tooling for that. Okay, so I know I have everybody thoroughly confused. What I was doing there was facing the weld buildup before we start going in and boring it. I'll face it off and get the height where it needs to be. Then we'll go ahead and bore it. But this is a boring and facing head. This is a Chandler duplex boring and facing head. And basically all I was doing was grabbing a hold of this little rod as it was spinning. And this causes it to feed. So that's what it was doing. It was feeding and feeding out and cutting our face. right, so we're totally cleaned up down to our finished depth and going off the base of the bearing surface inside that was still good. Now I'm actually going to change out all my tooling. I'm going to put in a small brazed carbide bit, and we're going to start cleaning up this inside bore until we get it nice and true. We'll run it a slower RPM because it's going to be hammering pretty good. And then once it's all cleaned up to true, then we'll finish it off. So that weld is pretty hard, and I just broke my carbide brazed insert here, my brazed cutter, but it was cutting nicely, cleaning up. So I'm going to change that out and we'll get back to this. So we took out another one of our brazed tool bits, and it's a good thing I have lots of these, and these were just junk that I started with. But the interrupted cut, it's pretty hard. I think I'm going to switch over now and try just a high-speed steel bit, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I just got a few thou to go, and it's cleaning up nicely. So I'm going to set it up, get that last couple thou, and we'll finish this job up. .068, absolutely perfect. Now we're going to take our cutter here, and we're just going to put a chamfer on this edge, and then we're all done. We'll take it out of here, and I'll just polish this with a flap wheel, this extra weld here, and we'll get it loaded up and off to the customer. Well, there you have it, all done on the horizontal boring mill, the CAT telehandler axle housing. Built up with ER70 S3 wire instead of S6. It's a little bit softer, a little easier to machine. And then bored out with the Chandler duplex boring head on the Lucas 441B-48 horizontal boring mill. Came out really good. Customer should be very happy with this. So with that, I'm going to end here. I'm going to get this thing off the mill, get it loaded up, and get it delivered. So until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.